Hey guys, today we're going to do the Escalade gauge cluster conversion in the Tahoe. Alright guys, this is for the 99 to 02 the GMT 800, so like Tahoe, Silverado, Suburban. This is going from the factory cluster, which is just kind of bland and basic, to the 02 Escalade gauge cluster. Trans temp gauge added on. Has like the silver trim rings, a little bit better lettering. You go from 100 to 120 mile an hour speedometer. Not that the Tahoe is going to do that. Just a better unit. So the thing is, with the 99 to 02 Tahoe, Suburban, Silverado, you have to use an 02 and only 02 gauge cluster will work. The older ones are in have like a different wiring schematic, pinout. They're not plug and play. And if you have an 03 to 06, you can use an 03 to 06. Pretty simple. Like I said, it's all plug and play. All the wiring's already there for the trans temp. And I guess we'll get started. All right, guys, to get started, first thing, drop your steering wheel all the way down, key on, take it down into low, key off, and just kind of start at the top and just pop this cover off. Be careful, they are kind of fragile. I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to be doing the Metra, I think it's a 3002B. It's a dash kit, so I can go to a double din. And then we'll get in here. Once you get this dash off, the trim panel, there's 4 bolts. There's one there, one down there, and then same thing on the other side. You got to take those out. So I'm going to get those pulled out and we'll go on. Screws out. And it should just lift out. Gotta kind of angle it, the bottom of it up to get to the wiring connector, which might be kind of a challenge to do with one hand. There's just a tab, push down. Let's see if I can get this out a little further. All right, I'm gonna have to set you guys down for a second. Hold on. Okay, guys, got it unclipped. Like I said, it's just the one wiring connector in the back. It's right on top. Like I said, the easiest way to get to it that I've found is to rotate the bottom of the gauge cluster up, so the face of it's kind of laying towards the top of the dash. Reach in there, use one hand to push this down, the other hand to pull it out of the gauge cluster. And then install of the Cadillac unit. Same thing. Top towards, take your connector. Since it's kind of hard to see, the actual clip part faces forward, like towards, so you would be looking at it when it's sitting in the panel correctly. So you can kind of get in there. And just like that, clip it in, it's locked in. Turn my hazards off, and then it just kind of rotates back up. Okay, we got power, and then it just sits in there. There's some dowel pins right here, and another one on this side to kind of get it in. Other than that, like I said, I got it powered on. Your mileage is saved in the cluster itself, not the car. So if that's something you're worried about, make sure that you find a cluster that's close to your mileage. I'm not too worried about that. So that's that. We'll go ahead and just throw this back up into park. All kinds of stuff turning on. It's cold, so I know that the temp gauges are going to be low like that. Seatbelt light not buckled, so you don't get any airbag lights or that I've heard of. I've never experienced something like that anyway. No check engine lights, nothing like that. It's just a direct plug and play conversion. So the next step would be to put your 4 screws back in, get your dash panel back on. That's pretty much all there is to it. So I know I've seen this pop up on some of the forums pages a couple times and asking what was needed to be done. And I mean, other than making sure you have the correct gears, it's pretty simple. Literally a 5-minute install. So I'm gonna get the dash panel put back on and everything situated, and we'll do a final little peek at what it looks like in it. And there you go. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments. Alright guys, so that's it. Like I said, completely plug and play. It takes about 5 minutes to install. The nuts on it, I used a 9/32 socket. So I'm sure that converts over to some metric thing, but when it gets to those smaller sizes, I'm not too positive on them. So that's pretty much all there is to it. The only thing you really need to worry about, like I said earlier, is if you have a 99 to 02, you have to use and find an 02 Escalade gauge cluster, which is what this is. The 03 to 06s, you just use an 03 to 06 Escalade cluster. The 07 up stuff, I'm sure it's the same, just find the correct gear. But just a real simple, easy to do thing that really kind of updates the dash. A lot of people kind of think it's dumb to spend money on this kind of stuff, but your gauge cluster is literally what you're staring at 99% of the time you're in your car. So yeah, no, that's all there is to it.